What's up guys, welcome to new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial, and today we are continuing with the RPG series. Today we'll finally continue on with the XP and level system, and also we'll finish up some things left of the stamina, basically making sure that we cannot run when crouch, and also just implement a new kind of sprinting quicker animation. It's gonna be a very easy video to follow, so let's get started. Alright, so let's get started by just making sure that our character cannot sprint basically when we are crouched. I mean, right now if we are crouched and then I start sprinting, it goes faster, but the sprinting animation keep the same and stuff. Anyway, I don't want my character to be able to basically go faster when crouching. Okay, the velocity of crouching is at this. So let's go into third person blueprints and open up the third person character blueprint. And on here we already have the stamina system. So basically we just want to make sure that we are not crouched when we want to go ahead and sprint. So we're gonna put this a bit to the right over here, and first of all we want to create another branch. Actually what we can do is just make an AND condition. So just get the condition and make an AND, so now we can use this branch. So basically is sprint needs to be true, and then crouch needs to not be true. So basically we'll place a not boolean. Okay, now it's making a bit of a mess here, so let's see if I can take this a bit down, yeah, a bit better, and put this. Actually, let me copy and paste this separate so it's a bit cleaner. There we go. So basically if we can sprint and we are not crouched, we will be able to start sprinting. But then if we are sprinting and suddenly we press control to crouch, the character will crouch. So we have to go into the crouch system over here and make sure that we are not crouched and we are not sprinting. So get is sprinting, and let's say not boolean, not branch, not boolean. There we go, and then plug this on here. Alright, so basically we are not crouched and also we are not sprinting. So there we go, that should be it. We can compile save. So now if I am crouched, I cannot go ahead and sprint. Alright, I can't. It doesn't work. As you can see, the stamina bar doesn't go off. And then also if I start running and then press control, I can't. It doesn't do anything. Now you can see that there's the camera transition working. All right, on the thing. I'm probably wondering why. Well, if we go into the third person character over here, the thing is that this event of crouch and uncrouch, I believe that is being called. So let's quickly see all the references into it. So basically it's being used over here in the jump. So actually no, that's another problem. Okay, anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I mean, we're running and then I should not be able to be crouched. I guess that is because of the timeline. So you know what, let's just add a simple branch over here in both cases. So basically if we are not sprinting, okay, again basically the same one. I honestly found it a bit weird, but hey, let's just add this over here. So this will be in reverse format, and is sprinting is not true. Of course we can also just put sprinting and put it from the false root, but I think it gets a bit more cleaner. So now if I'm running and I press control, there we go, nothing will happen basically. Okay, great. So everything is now going ahead and working. So now we can go ahead and continue on with the player stats, but actually before we can add the sprinting animation. So the thing is that the lighter locomotion system doesn't have any heavy sprinting. I already have this jog animation, and it's like the maximum velocity that it has. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is basically duplicate this animation and just increase the playback speed, so it will simulate like we are going faster in the animation wise. Now in the future we'll of course implement a more sprinting one, but right now yet I don't have one, so don't worry, in a very near episode we'll add it. But it doesn't matter, we can just go into characters, RPG character, animations. Sorry, this will be actually in the mannequins. So go into mannequins, animations, and then under mani we will see the run forward. So let's duplicate this and let's change this to be basically just instead of sprint. And that's it, that's really what we need. So now just double click to open it, and you will see the guy sprinting, and then what we have to do is get the rate scale and just increase it. So let's see, 1.5 is too crazy. Yes, that's great. Maybe 1.3. 1.3 seems pretty okay. We will need to adjust it maybe later, so we'll see. So now we have this sprint thing created, the animation. So now we can go back into our RPG character animations, and now under locomotion we can open our blend space. So as you can see, our max value was 500, which was basically the maximum speed that we could basically just walk over here, and the max speed is set to this normal jog animation. But now in the last episodes we added sprinting with stamina system. So let's see what is the max velocity that it can go. So if we go into in sprinting here, we can see that it's actually 750. So now we're gonna need to go into a blend space and put that the maximum is gonna be 750, because it's now at the velocity that we sprint. And now we can add at the end the sprint animation. So let's go ahead and find it, just drag it here, put it at the end, and now if I hold control, you can see that everything works, but now we have an extra step over here that maybe we need to increment more or less, we'll see. So that should be it. Now if I'm working and running, you can see that the animation indeed is going ahead and changing, and it's pretty noticeable. Now don't worry, in the future we'll go ahead and implement a more proper sprinting, like if it's more leaned down to be more aerodynamic animation. I don't know, whatever cool thing that we can find, so don't worry about that, but we have things working. All right, now yes, we can continue on with the player stats and do the final thing for now, for the basics of the structure, which is the XP and leveling system. All right, and we'll basically display on the screen and stuff. And we'll continue then with advancing some things at the UI in the next episode, and then in the next episode we'll begin finally with combat. And then later on, as we get into more of the combat leveling systems and also the equipment, we will touch back again a bit of the structure of the player stats to make it more advanced. Okay, so right now we are like in the basics. Anyway, let's go into blueprints and go into the components. So what we got to do is create also different functions for the XP and stamina. So we already have the variables created, and we have some functions for the health and stamina. So now what we want to do is basically go ahead and create a new function, which is going to be basically increase XP. And there we go. And we're going to go ahead and select it over here in this node and basically put a new category, which will be just honestly XP level and XP, let's say. So we have both level and XP. Great. And now what we can do is also create a new function, which will be basically increase level. Okay, and now again this will be in category. We can now drag this drop down, and now it's going to be level and XP. We have everything organized. Great. So let's go first of all into increase XP, the experience. Okay, the little points that we will be getting. Great. So what we need to do is basically get XP and set it, and now basically it will get the current XP that it has and then add another value, which in our case will be an input. So when we go this node, we will be adding, and we need to plug of course this into the setter, whatever new XP into the current one. Now we're gonna select this node and change the input to be added XP, or whatever you want to call it, and then there we go. So now we will be increasing the XP. Now we need to make sure that when we get into the maximum XP, we increase the level. So what we're going to do is right after this make a branch, and we're going to say is, well, we're going to get the current XP and say if it's basically bigger or equal than the max XP over here, and let's put that on there. So if this is true, we will need to increase the level. So we'll go ahead and go from true and then say increase the level, and we'll go ahead and have a nice flow over here. And right now our max XP is set to 100 and our current XP is set to 0. So good. To get the first level, we will need basically 100 of XP, and later on it will increase. So we're gonna go into the increase level, and what we're going to do is get the level variable over here, and basically we're gonna go ahead and also set it so we can also add it like we did basically with the XP. So add it, and in this case it will be always 1. Now if we want, we can also put it as an input, so later on from another place we can call increase level and put whatever we want, but you know, let's actually do that. So let's put it as a new input is going to be the added level, and then this will basically add whatever we want. And in our case, we want to go back to our XP and put it to be 1. Okay, so we'll increase 1 level to 1. So later on, if we call this increase level function from another place, we can manually put, like, for example, 10 levels. Imagine that we do a heavy mission or whatever, and instead of just adding XP, we just want to directly add levels. Now we can very easily. Okay, it's just making sure that things are easier for us in the future. Anyway, so what we want to do is now, a part of increasing the level, we want to increase the max experience and reset the XP. So right now, in order to get to the next level, the max XP needed, that also max XP will be also symbolizing the XP needed to go into another level. Okay, basically I'm just taking the Assassin's Creed style of Origins. Okay, you have a certain amount of XP and a max XP. When you get into that max XP, the level increases and then all resets, and then the max XP will be increased. It might be a bit confusing, but let me just put it over here. If you have played the game, you probably will be getting. If not, you're like, what is this guy saying? Don't worry, okay? So what we have to do is basically get the max XP, okay? And then set it. And then we'll get the max XP, the current one, and add a value over here. So right now, let's say that we're gonna add 150. Now, this value will be better to get it from a database, so we can have a list of all the levels and the XP required for each one. Now for now, we're gonna keep it simple and just add 150 to each level needed. But don't worry, in the future, like I said, when we start touching with the advanced part of the player stats with the combat and equipment, don't worry, we will want to make this data table so we have more control. But for now, we can just leave it like that. And now what we want to do is reset the XP. So we go back to 0 and want to increase back, so you set it into 0. And now that main flow should be went ahead and finished, really. So now it's time to be able to call these functions and also display a UI. So let's quickly go ahead and display a UI. So what we're gonna do is go to here, content, and now UI, and we're gonna use the same HUD widget that we had before. So here we have the health bar, stamina bar, and the health and stuff. So now what we want to do is basically display the levels and stuff. So what we're going to do is go here, and first of all, let's put our level text. So let's get a new text, drag it over here, and we're gonna set a new anchor. And in our case, it's gonna be up here in the corner, even though we're gonna drop it a bit down over here. And then the text, we can put a placeholder just to us to visualize how it will look. For example, we are level 15, let's say. So this is just us to see. And now we can go into the alignment and just put it in the center so we have a bit more control, and then make it smaller because we are not gonna have like massive numbers over here, at least for now. This will depend for you. If you want to have level 1550, you can go ahead and change that, but you know, anyway. So also would be nice to add like a little background shield or whatever. Right now I don't have a shield, don't worry. In the next episode we'll be touching the UI and basically modifying the sliders and adding sounds. We will add this shield, okay? But if you want, right now we can just add a simple image over here. So again, put the anchors to be here, and then the brush, we can get just something random over here. I don't really know. We can, for example, this one, this over here. So we can just put a size of 70 and 70, and then just put it over here. So it needs to be well, a bit smaller, and then maybe we can just put it on top of the level. I don't know, later on we'll add a shield, okay? Tomorrow, well, in the next episode. So for now, this is good. So let's select this text and change the name to be the basically level text. So level ntxt. Oh, actually use text better. And then make sure that it's variable, so we can go ahead and modify it later on. Great. And now we want to basically create a progress bar, like we did with the stamina stuff. So what we want to do is get the new progress bar, drag it over here, set the anchors to be on top right, and then we want to basically change the size Y to be much thinner. So maybe yes, like 3, something like that. So it's very, very thin. Maybe it's too much. Well, we'll see. And basically we're gonna make this a bit longer to maybe 140 is pretty okay. And basically here we'll have the bar of the XP, so we can see how much we need. Now, of course, this is all up to you. If you want to change the customization and how it looks, up to you. But I do recommend following, how I do stuff. Yeah, just make things a bit easier for the future. Okay, and now I can just put a % of 0.7, for example, so you see how it looks, and then we can put another color. I don't know, for example, kind of greenish. This is just temporary, okay? But for example. Great, and now what we want to do is change this to be the XP bar. And now this image, let's change this to be the level icon. And then also what we're going to do is get another text. So let's go and get this level text and Ctrl D to duplicate it. And this won't be the level text, this will be the XP text, okay? And we will need to set it back over here and put it here. Sorry, I moved the bar. No, we need this one, the XP text. Put it over here, and this will be, for example, we have 0 out of 100. Okay, and now we're gonna make the size a bit smaller. So let's say like 15, actually 10. Yeah, something like that. 10. Make it smaller and put it over here. Okay, so now we can see the level and the XP needed, and so on. Don't worry, the UI customization, let's put it actually a bit smaller, 7, is temporary. Next episode we'll tune them a bit more, and as long as this series goes, we'll make some touches and stuff, but this is just the planning overall of the UI. Great, and now we need to make the XP bar as variable, so make sure that's that, and the level icon we can disable is variable, we don't want to exit it outside, and then everything that we did needs to be is variable except that icon. Okay, so I can compile, save, I have the UI good and place. Great, so let's go into player stats, and now let's start with the increase XP. So what we want to do is go ahead and basically customize the UI. So we can just get the player character that we saved earlier on, and then again get the HUD widget. Basically we're gonna do very similar thing that we did with the health and stamina, and we want to basically now get this, and then go ahead and also get the progress bar. Okay, so well, bar, XP bar, there we go. I want to do now is basically set the %. Great, so let's plug this in over here. So we want to go from to different levels. So what we want to do is basically get our current XP and then go ahead and divide it by our max XP, and it will automatically create us a nice flow from 0 to 1. As you can see, the values from the progress bar are from 0 to 1. And great, that's great. And now what I want to do is go ahead and let's just get these two first nodes and put them here. So onto the UI, and then we want to now get the text of the XP text. There we go. So we can basically change that. And now we just want to basically set the text. And basically here for our text, what we want to do is call this node named format text. So now in here you will see what we can do is basically we'll put two parameters. So in here basically two inputs. So let's put the square brackets, however they're called. And then in the first one we're gonna have basically current XP. And then we're gonna put basically a space and then a bar. So this is gonna be basically our text in middle, and I'm gonna add another input parameter, another square bracket, and this will be the max XP. Now if we hit enter, you can see that now we have two inputs, and great, we can now put them together, and basically we'll replace what is inside of this square bracket with the input, and then we'll have this middle bar over here, this bar. So what we can do is now just basically put this a bit up here, get the XP, put it on here, and then get the max XP, and then put it over here. Compile and save. Okay, another thing that we have to do is basically get all this that we did over here, copy and go into the event graph in the begin play, and then also paste it, and so it will basically initialize it. So when we load the game, it will automatically do all that stuff. Now let's go into the increase level, and now we have to do the same stuff. So we have to basically get our player character, and we want to now get the HUD widget, and now what we want to do is basically get the level text. In this case, it's gonna be way simpler. We just want to do a set text. There we go, the second one. Put it here, and now we just want to get our level variable. Drag it, get it, and drag it, and there we go. And then it will create also this node. If you want, you can just put it to the side, and there we go. compile and save. And also we need to get once more this UI. So let's get, oh come on, this, and then go to then graph, go back here and then paste it. And now if we put this down, go and compile and save, now you'll see that when we press play, you have the UI here. Now it's incredibly small, so we'll try to increase it, but it should be working. So you can see that it set it the 0 and then 100, and then it also set it the level to be 1. So that's great, it's working. For example, if I go here and set the max XP to be 250, you will see how it would change. As you can see, it's now 0 to 250, very small. So let's change that. Let's also put this back into 100, and let's go into the HUD, and then we can go ahead and select overall everything, I think, and we can just make it bigger. But actually, let's go ahead and do it slowly. So I think that, yeah, we need to make this bigger. So let's put this as 12, something like that. That's a bit better. And then maybe the health bar, well, the progress bar, not health bar, sorry about that. The XP has to be a bit bigger. Let's put it centered again. Basically, that's pretty much it. Yes, I think that looks a bit better. Great, so now let's go ahead and call these functions when we click a button or, well, a key, just to debug them and see that everything's working. So we can now go ahead and save everything, Ctrl+Shift+S, and then close everything. And now we can open our third-person character blueprint. Now we can do though, let's go down here and add another debug key. So let's say there's gonna be a debug key, and then let's say that it's gonna be, let's just click in whatever key, and then we can select the node and then click this keyboard, and let's put it's gonna be the number 2. So just click your number 2, and then what we can do is get the BPC player stats, and then what we can do is just call the function. So in our case will be basically increase XP, and now you can see all the categories here, very beautiful layout. Okay, so it's gonna be increase XP, and also this will increase the level. So let's say it's gonna be 10. Okay, for example, if I put the number correct, there we go, compile, save. So now if I press play, I have 0 of 100 and the progress bar is 0. But if I start pressing 2, nothing changes. Great. So let's see what's happening. Okay, so we're calling basically increase XP and sorry about the coughing. Basically increase XP, dun, 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 dun. Great, so it's basically, it's not updating the UI because I made the mistake of putting it after we increase the level when it's only true. So we need to get the false condition and then plug it into the set percent. And what we can do is just double click and put it up here in order to have it a bit more organized. Okay, so basically if it's true, it will go first of all with the increased level and then go here, but if not, it will just directly go into the set percent. And I believe that in the increased level we don't have any of that issue. There we go. So great, so now let's go ahead and press play, press 2, and now you can see how the progress bar increases when I press 2, and also the text. So now I have 70 or 100, and then when we get to 100, there we go, the level increases. Now it's 0 to 250. Now we'll go ahead and increase, as you can see, and then boom, level 3, 0 to 400. So it's increasing every time we have more XP. Great, everything is going ahead and working perfectly. Like I mentioned before, later on in the series, if you want, we can add a database with all the values for each level. So for example, we need 5,000 of XP for level 20, things like that, you know. But of course you can just keep the system, is very optimum, it's very fast, just increasing the max XP every time. But we'll see what is better for us as we go in the series and stuff. And also let me know in the comments below. So in the next episode, we'll go ahead and add some sounds, so some footsteps, some jumping, some running sounds, some knife hits for the stealth kills, and so on, and also for the level up and stuff, of course. And then we'll customize a bit the UI, basically just change a bit the health bar, so and the stamina bar, so it's a bit cooler and stuff. And then of course retouch this a bit so that the like the shield for the, you know, the level and so on, maybe put a different font and retouch a bit the colors and so on. Basically just add some sounds and retouch a bit the UI that we have until now. And then in the next episode after that, we can start with the combat system that I'm very excited for. Alright guys, so if you found this tutorial helpful, I would really appreciate you go like the video and subscribe to my channel. I have lots of Unreal Engine 5 tutorials, so if you want to go ahead and check them out, go ahead. I would really appreciate you go like the video and subscribe to my channel. I already just said that, oh my god. Okay, join my Discord server so you can go ahead and, you know, show your progress in this series or any game at all, and then also ask any questions and just go and chat with other game devs. Follow me on all my socials such as Twitter and Instagram. And now, yes, with all that said, bye bye.